Hey guys, in today's episode, I'm going to share with you a conversation that we had in the live trading room that turned into a trader assessment where we really dialed in on a flaw that a specific trader had and talked about how we can go about fixing it. Well, each trade is, I understand each trade is a little different, but if you don't have, if you don't have a reason, a signal that tells you when to buy, how do you know when to buy? It seems like there's a hole missing. It seems like everything else is fine. You've got everything else lined up, but how do I know when to buy? And I agree, each trade is a little different. But do I buy off a doji this time? Do I buy off a double top next time? Do I buy off of, right? There's got to be some type of rhyme or reason that tells you when to buy. It can't just be a random thing every single trade, because then that's not part of a plan. That's just randomly trading. So how do I know when to actually execute the buy? So for me, I can use different things, right? I can use a higher high, higher close, right? If it's a more conservative or a more conservative opportunity, when that's not a grade A trade, I can use a double top. If I miss a double top or I really want to be super conservative, I can use a 26.18. So those are three different ways I can enter depending on the situation, but I know every three ways. But what you failed to give me is a reason for entry. So I'm not seeing it, and you can help me out. I'm not getting the answer to the question, how do I know when to push the button? Everything else seems fine. The trade setup, what type of trade, the direction, the confluence. But the final key is if we were speaking, that's not answering the question, right? You're giving me other stuff. I don't want other stuff. All that is fine. All that's good. We're clear on that part. But if you're explaining your trading strategy to someone in this room and they're asking, hey, I want to trade like you. I like it. I like the SMA. I like the pivots. I like the continuation. I like the divergence. But I'm stuck here. How do I know when to actually enter the trade? What do you tell them? But how do you know when to get involved? That's the part we're missing here. How do you know when to get involved? I'm gonna yell too because you're yelling, and you don't have to fight me on this. We can. There we go. Yes, we got there. So that needs to be fixed. That's the next level. We got there. I knew we were there since this morning. I wanted you to get there because I don't like calling people out. Gut feeling. We can't do that. Well, we can do whatever we want. Technically, it's our trading plan, right? So we can put in gut feeling if you want. But in my professional opinion, trading off a gut feeling is gonna eventually end you with another type of gut feeling. Not a good one. So how can we take that gut feeling, and I think you know what you need because you mentioned a doji. How can we take that gut feeling and make it something or some things, that way you're more consistent? Because the one thing about gut feeling is there's going to be no consistency in gut feeling. So how can we, and you may not know the answer right now, but what I would task you with doing, well, it was half joke, but that means it's half real too, and I think there's truth to that. I think, and again, this is from conversations today and last week as well. I think it's okay. It's time to go. Boom! Just push the button. I'm doing it. Yeah, we want you to be honest. That's the goal. Yeah. If you're not honest, we'll never get better. That's why I'm so happy you finally came out and said it. I've been waiting for this. Our live room members, they kind of figured that already. They kind of know how I am. I'm not gonna. I want it to come out of you. That's my goal. I'm not gonna force it out of you because then then people just fight. So I want you to be honest. This is not a negative, right? Remember what I said earlier about the trading plan. Do I think you're in the situation where you're a reckless gambler and you're just buying and selling? No. Right? Do we think that, traders? Do we think this trader is just recklessly buying and selling in the market and it's the wild, wild west and like, ha ha ha, yeah. No, it sounds like you know exactly what to look for. You know exactly what you need. You know exactly what you need to support it. You need to confluent. It sounds like you've got most of it done, but there's just a little bit of fine tuning. And my best guess would be that there's not an actual written trading plan. It's in your mind, but it's not actually written down. If it is written down, it's not written down using the if-then syntax. So it's black or white, it's binary. And then it's this last part, it's the reason for entry. So you just need a couple tweaks. It's very similar to, I don't know how many of you guys know Chris Mills, he was one of the originals on our platform. Phenomenal trader, but same exact situation. It just needed to be fine-tuned. And once he fine-tuned it, boom, took off. A whole different level. And he knew what he wanted to do the whole time. It just wasn't, and I tasked him, I say, Chris, do this. Write down your rules and send them to me. And we did a Q&A. It got lost, which kind of makes it even better in a way. It was recorded, but I guess there was a recording problem or something. But he wrote it down, and we went over it. And then he realized when writing it down and when we reviewed it, he's like, "Wow, yeah, there were some holes in here." And he went about fixing it, and boom, took off. So if it's not written down already, I think that would be the first task. I would highly advise writing down your trade plan step by step. Just the rules of execution part, rules of engagement, right? What exactly do you need to see, need to have, right? I'd write it in an if-then syntax. I think that's the best way to put it down and make it simple. And then we got to work on this final part. What is the reason or reasons for entry? And it could be multiple reasons. I don't care. It could be 18 different reasons for entry. But it needs to be written down. That way, when you look at a chart, you know what 18 things to look at, and you can consistently execute the trade instead of it being random. Hopefully it's not 18, but just an example. And again, I can care less what it is. It doesn't really matter what it is, but it needs to be purposeful. It needs to be consistent. That way you know exactly when to enter, and it's you're no longer guessing or going off a feel. I think entry is, right? And if you're not sure what the entry should be, go back through all your trades and see what they have in common. Is it the doji? Is it the higher high, higher close? Is it a negative candlestick, right? So a weak bearish candle for this type of pullback, or a weak bullish candle if it was going in the opposite direction. Discover what that entry or entries need to be. Add them to the plan. Test them if you haven't tested them already. I'm hoping. Well, it can't be tested. That's another story. It can't be tested because there's no rules. So that means there wasn't back testing. So I would advise going through a round of back testing as well and seeing what you find there. I think you're going to discover a lot, especially about the entry during the back testing. And then add it to the plan. I'm glad we got there. I've been waiting for a week, guys, for that. I've been waiting for a week, and we finally got there. I am happy. Because I saw a red flag, I think it was last week's conversation. And I was like, this will be fun. We'll keep working on it. I trade two different systems at the same time, one short. Yep, do the same thing for both. Do the same thing for both. And that's the next step. So you're probably really close to taking your trading to the next level. Because if you're trading well without a plan, imagine how good you'll be with one. George said, I hope it's a good aha moment for you. I remember Jason Staple ripped me. And yeah. That's not my approach. That's what I needed when I was the same way. He gently ripped me apart. It was even worse. I think I wanted him to yell at me, and he just did it so nicely, and I was like, oh, I hate you. He backed me into a corner and just like kept punching me, and I was like, oh man. But yeah, it was hard. I had, because I had every excuse in the world, and I was finally like, you're right. I I don't have a rule. I ran out of excuses. I kept throwing like stuff at words at him, like he wasn't a trader. Higher high, maybe. Good. You're optimistic now for a long journey. After a long journey, yeah. I think that's the next step. Good stuff. That's a perfect way to end the day. Any other questions, guys? I'm happy with that. And I appreciate you being a good sport. I love the trust me, we've spoken to so many traders. The ones that aren't honest, they never change. It's always the honest ones. Always the ones that are like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. Those are the ones that have room for growth. Honesty will give you that room to grow. It lets the light in, and all plants need light. The ones that fight it and they're not honest, and they lie, they never want to see the truth, and they're never willing to change. They're gonna stay who they are because they won't accept that they need to change. And it's not easy to accept it. Like I think maybe for some of us, like it's not easy for me to like taking criticism and accepting change. Like that's hard for me, very difficult. But it is a part of the growing process. And it stings for like a second, but then the future is so much better. For those who never let the light in, they never change. They just, they slowly just die. So, yeah, we all, I think I can speak for everyone in the room here. We all appreciate you being a good sport. We all appreciate you being a good sport. And when you get the chance, get on the chat and start telling some of these traders about your trading strategy, man. You got some interesting stuff going on, man. I'm sure they'd love to hear about it. Don't be shy. At the same time, maybe they can give you you can give them some advice, they can give you some advice, and everyone gets better. So, cool stuff. All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 2 o'clock FOMC, 2:30 press conference, I believe. That's usually what it is, a half an hour later. Probably won't see, well, maybe. I got some back testing to do. I got to record a coffee break with Stone. But I may see you guys in the chat. If I am, say hi. Hope you enjoyed the show. Remember, we have a lot of free training over at tier1trading.com. So head over to the website, click the button that says free training. Take advantage of it if you're serious about becoming a consistently profitable trader.